thank you.
Hi there.
Stephen. It's a little bit complicated. I was diagnosed with a cancer some time ago, and I've been seeing a counsellor about it, and various people in life know about it, but they all think that I'm in a state of denial because I don't constantly talk about it. I think they seem to think that it should be my non-stop topic of conversation, so cancer, and not be talking of anything else. So that if I'm not doing that, then it means I'm denying its existence. I don't think that's true, but I think I see it for what it is. I mean, it's obviously a condition, but I don't feel that I'm ignoring it or pretending it's not existing. I think I have probably other priorities that come to the surface more. Since I came across you online, just by accident really, I found your clarity and compassion towards people, even though it wasn't my particular issue, magnetized me somewhat. You know, I felt drawn towards you for that reason. Hearing you talk to various people at satsangs around the world on the internet, and listening to those, listening to you, talking to people, gave me a sense of calmness. It was quite, therapeutic really, and so I've been doing that quite a lot recently, even though this weekend is the first time I've met Ma personally. So I suppose the question is, do you think that my sense of getting that illness in my own sense of proportion seems right, or do you think everyone else is right who seems to think that I'm denying the existence of something?
You said that other priorities have risen. Are you able to name some?
Yes. Well, actually, you're the first person I would have said this to in years, but when I was a teenager, I had a very bad skin problem, and girls at school were very rude about it. You can imagine some teenagers can be quite cruel, and they say nasty things, and of course teenage years are a very crucial part in anyone's development, and I think I never really got over that because it was a number of years. I mean, the teenage years is very, very formative, and it might sound to some people rather peculiar to be focused on something that isn't life-threatening, and something that is life-threatening is lower down my sense of priorities. So I suppose that I have probably a poor self-image, so self-esteem from that physical point of view.
Mm-hmm. Yes. That which led you here and led you to look online, you say accidentally, and of course it was not accidental. You speak of a lack of self-esteem, and all beings are in a perpetual state of a lack of self-esteem. A deep sense of self-hatred, a sense of unworthiness. And every being's story compounds that. And your story happened to contain beings speaking to you in an unkind way about your physical appearance. And that compounded your original sense of, I am inherently unworthy. It wasn't the first thing that occurred. And let's go right back and see where this unworthiness begins. We have to roll it right back. Even before your story supposedly began, just as it was beginning. The moment you took your name, you came into form and you took this name. What we could call a forgetting began. a forgetting of your inherent nature, a forgetting of what we could call the great parent. And in that forgetting, the story was weaved that you felt abandoned by that great parent. It's a complex one in the human psyche. This original sense of abandonment, of rejection, and of loss. Okay? A deeper aspect is pulling you to know the love that you are. All beings are craving love. It is the unique impulse that drives this human existence, the craving for completion in love. And that craving is not all wrong. It's actually a very wise craving, although there are misunderstandings around it. The wisdom is that you are love. The misunderstanding is that you're craving it externally. Okay, so let's again wind back to this little one who has come into form. It's just taken its name. It's forgotten the original parent, which is love, your essential nature. But in that forgetting, there is a whisper of a memory of love, of your nature. And as this one grows, it starts to look for that which feels missing, that essential love. And its first point of call is its earthly mother, the first taste. But somehow it doesn't complete you. Somehow this beautiful taste of love is still letting you down. Earthly mother will never satisfy you. And so that sense of rejection is compounded. And every relationship you'll ever have will compound it again. Whether it's girls in the playground or otherwise. All your relationships with those you love, with those you don't know very well, will compound a sense of isolation, of I am other to you. So again, going back to when you first come into form. When a being comes into form, it feels separate and different from all of the other forms. Even its mother feels different. It's the closest, but it's still different. And in that difference, a sense of I am completely alone arises. And I must defend my position if I am alone. I must look after myself. I must maintain this form against outside invasion. But here is the complexity. Because already you're on a search, you're on a seeking for that love which feels missing. At the same time, recoiling from all of that difference. I want you and I'm terrified of you. I'm craving love in this form, but I'm also going to erect many defenses around this one to protect myself from that otherness. And that's the complexity of your journey, of every being's journey. But it wasn't wrong. All of that so-called misunderstanding has been part of your maturing, part of your evolution, and it's bringing you home. Your sense of otherness was compounded by what you're calling a skin condition. I am different to you. I am so different that I must be completely unlovable. And the girls in the playground confirmed you in that. A deeper voice is saying, who is that is not in need? Who does not mind? And thus your call for Ma. And what is Ma? We say Ma. Sorry.
Love.
Yes. We say Ma. We can also say mother consciousness, beingness, self, you. Pure unconditional love. The awareness that you are. Can you put your left hand on your chest? So just a little bit more in the center. That's it. And close your eyes just for a moment. Okay. Now hone in on that sensation of touch. Can you feel a quality of space between the hand and the chest?
Yes.
All right. So really dive into that space. Feel its expansiveness. Is space contained between the hand and chest?
Yes.
Does it stop at the edges of your hand?
No.
Okay. So be the space that does not stop at the edges of your form. Is the space of your being male or female?
Sorry.
Is the space of your being male or female?
I don't know really. Maybe if you're female.
What makes it feel female?
Because it's more compassionate and nurturing, I suppose.
Okay. First of all, you said you don't know, and then you honed in on a quality within space that you then identified as female. But for the moment, let's take female aside and dive into the qualities themselves, compassionate and nurturing sense. The space of your being is a nurturing sense, compassion itself. Is anything missing when you're looking from space?
No.
Does anything need to change?
I can't see anything.
Okay. So now when you're ready, can you open your physical eyes, but let the space of your being look at Ma? How is your view?
Glowing, really.
Yes, you are. To look from the eyes of the heart is to look as pure, unconditional love. It is to look as entire existence. This one has no need. Nothing is missing, you say. No expectation, therefore. We could call a cancer a collection of misunderstandings in the form of cells, gathering together, ready to be released. Everything that occurs is occurring to bring you back to the silence of your being, to the you that has no need. The need for approval has been your guiding force, the one who wasn't approved of early on has been hurting for a very long time. Now here, speaking from here, again, look at Ma from the space of your being. Is there a need for approval?
No.
Compassion is seeing compassion. Love is looking in the mirror and seeing itself. That is the benevolence of love. It gives you a so-called skin condition to remind you of itself. It seems a painful journey to the mind. It can't comprehend it. The child will say, yes, but why did I have to go through all of that? When you look from here, from space, is there a minding of what has occurred? A minding. That is to say, is there one still wanting it to be different? Yes, there is. It's okay. There will be. There will be a little one still full of misunderstandings, full of craving, full of need, full of fury. This journey to Ma is opening an almighty box, and you have to be willing to dive in to all the layers of you. In a sense, that is what a cancer is doing. It's gathering together all that which is in misunderstanding and saying, look at me. All of this is not resonating as the love that I am, and it's ready to become resonant. But you have to be willing to dive into each of those cells and see that which is in misunderstanding in tight contraction still. And it's personal and it's not so personal. That is to say, you are the collective, so therefore, all of the stories are wrapped up within this one story. Let's go back to what these beings are saying about you. This also is a very profound one. The thinking mind's concern about what other people think.
Yes.
A knowing has come that you don't feel to put all of your focus on the cancer as a problem. Right? You're being asked to trust your knowing. However, consciousness is always giving multiple lessons in one experience. Those who are doubting your knowing are offering you a gift. To stand as you are, not wobble. I don't know how I know this, but I do know Ma. At the same time, they're offering you an alert. Look at the cancer. The misunderstanding of their alert is that they're trying to problematize it. Nonetheless, you are to take it seriously. Give it due respect without being consumed. So the wisdom in this child mind is that you don't feel to be consumed, but therefore, the next stage is to not let yourself deny, to never let yourself deny the detail. And again, that brings us back to your journey to Ma. In falling in love with love, in discovering the love that you are then being asked to dive into the detail. There's no escape. Into all the layers that comprise this you. It's very interesting that you say that, why should I be so worried about something that is not life-threatening? Yes. It is death in a different sense. Death of the spirit. To be so committed to the form. Nonetheless, the form is your vessel. It is all you, and nothing can be denied. But you've just described a you that does not stop at the edges of your form.
No.
A you that is compassion itself, in your own words. To know this you is to meet all of the other little yous in existence, and to meet them as the love that you are. To have no need of their approval. To see Ma in them. It's so beautiful, the point you have reached.
Yeah, really.
Really, really.
Thanks.
It's not a compliment.
Just a fact.
Let's see if you can feel the beauty. Don't take my word for it. Never believe anything I say. This is your discovery. Again, as if your eyes were under your palm. Now look at Ma from the eyes under your palm. Now look at your doctors from the eyes of the heart. Now meet your loved ones from the eyes of the heart. This is not to make you feel better. This is an entire shift of perspective. Again, how does it feel when you look from the eyes of the heart?
Warm. And compassionate.
That is the beauty that you are. Yes, there are still many layers in this child mind, but let them come. Your task is to bring your focus back here and look at those details from the eyes of the heart. It's a process, and allow it. There's no hurry, but sincerity is required.
Right.
And that floods out of you. I'd love to hear more as you go along.
Thanks, I will.
Thank you, my love.
Thank you.
Thank you.
a lot of tears came up for me when you were talking to the last person. I don't know which part of it was what really touched me. Again, I think it's about love, and I want to go home. I've had a taste of being home. I've felt the essence of my true self, but I can't seem to get there. Although I know I'm already there, but I just don't recognize it. I only learned about you about a week ago. Again, somebody sent me your interview on Conscious TV, and I listened to it and I fell in love with you then. And I just knew I had to come this weekend. But unfortunately my body has decided to have a cold on the day I was due to come, and I couldn't make yesterday because I was in bed with a temperature. But I was determined to make today because I just so wanted to speak with you. I have been watching Mooji. I have been doing satsangs for quite a while. And I've been listening to all the satsangs of Mooji, Sri Mooji, when he was in Rishikesh recently for 5 weeks. And I have been doing quite a bit for quite a few years, but I've never really had my heart in it. But I have, in those last 5 weeks, had my heart really hearing what's being said and trying to get to this space. But I can't get there. And I think there's another issue, is that I do have a heart condition, and it has been limiting me, and I haven't been able to go to any live satsangs, but I've managed to make here. I don't know what I really want to say, is that I feel, I keep on getting this voice in my head saying that because of the operations I've had on my heart, it's going to affect whether I can get to this place, or whether I can experience this place, or be in that place. I know it's nonsense, but it keeps on coming into my head that it's not happening because I've had some damage done to my heart. And it does affect me on a daily basis. And I think there's some anger there. Although I have tried to forgive what's happened.
Yes.
It's just the love. It's the love. I think that's touched my heart. The day when you were talking with your last person. I don't know really what I'm saying, but
it's very clear.
Can you explain it to me, please?
You fell in love.
I did.
Mm. And now you're telling me you can't feel, but you fell in love.
I guess I've been looking at that as a human love, not as a love of consciousness. And having experienced it, I know it's completely different. Oh, it did at the time when I felt it. It was very, very different.
Sure. But how do you know love?
Well, I only know love from the experiences I've had, and a couple of experiences I've had of feeling consciousness love.
So how did you know that you fell in love with Ma?
I just knew. There was just something just something very special. I had to keep watching the interview over and over again. I couldn't let it go.
I just knew.
Yes.
Mm. You are so vast. The mind can never comprehend the vastness of you, the immensity of you, the magnificence of Ma. It cannot believe that it's worthy of such immensity. And yet, when love comes, you know it instantly. Love is looking at love. That is how you know it. It's more intimate to you than your own skin. It's pure, undiluted self-recognition. That is why you had to keep on watching. You had to keep on watching yourself. That's me. There I am. That's home. Within that seeing itself is like having dynamite thrown into you. On an emotional sense, you are exploded. Everything is toppled. And now you need to be willing to be messy and all over the place. And one of those messinesses, if you like, is the misunderstanding that somehow I am inherently unworthy of love. And that is intimately connected with your fury of what's happened to your body. The operation on the heart. Learn to look in the abstract. Love is rarely literal. It's always speaking in code. Decipher it. What's really being articulated through the operations on your heart? How is love grabbing your attention?
I think it's the fact that it's my heart and what it represents.
Are you able to say what the diagnosis was or what the operation was doing?
It was correcting a rhythm problem, but unfortunately I damaged it and made a worse problem.
Okay.
And they tried 2 or 3 more times, but it didn't work.
Right. You see the precision of love. It's using its children to remind the children of itself. And in this one, it's using your physical heart. In another one, it used the skin. In another one, it'll use another aspect of the form. In another one, it'll use a strong emotional aspect. In fact, there'll be many aspects within each form, all shining a light on you. And something within this body-mind has not been resonating very strongly through the physical heart. It hasn't been flowing quite as it could flow. At the same time, the physical heart is saying, are you but this physical heart?
Are you? Sorry?
Are you only a physical heart?
No.
The physical heart is the means for you to know heart. And every physical heart has to be broken in order to know itself. What grace. Can you put your left hand here? Just close your eyes for a moment and let yourself settle on the touch, hand against the chest. This may seem like a practice, but it's more than that. It's enabling you to shift your perspective. But still we must begin with a point of concentration, because for the mind, even concentration can be tricky. So allow yourself to settle on the touch. Okay, can you feel warmth under the palm?
Yes, and tingling.
And a tingling. The vibration of being. The vibration of you. And when you're ready, can you open your physical eyes, but let that warmth look at the form of Ma. Now allow the physical eyes to meet. But the deeper eyes are looking. How does it feel to look from the deeper eyes?
Peaceful, very peaceful.
Is anything wrong?
No.
All right. Only now are you in the true position to be able to understand what's going on in the physical heart. These eyes have a panoramic view. The moment I said that, you jump back to these eyes. With a but. It's okay, it's going to happen, it's going to keep on happening. The thinking mind is holding on very tightly to an idea of itself. But let's be really clear about this thinking mind. It's not the enemy. It's a child. And it's still learning, and it's still growing, and it's still misunderstanding. Like every child will while it's growing. This is the parent to that child. The wisdom of being. So every time you feel these eyes strongly, and it will be most of the time, your task now is to actively bring your focus back down. To awareness itself. To the you that is watching a little you. Just close your eyes once more. And again, focusing on the warmth. Can you feel a quality of space between the hand and chest?
Yes.
Is it limited to just between hand and chest?
No.
Okay. So be that unlimited space. Is the space of your being male or female?
Feels neither.
Feels neither, okay. But what
Just
is seeing?
space. Just space.
Just space. You're discovering a you that's not male or female. A you that is just like space, not a form that you can touch. Is this you beating like a beating heart?
Yes.
Explain to me how.
It just feels expansive.
Is it doing anything?
No, I can just feel my breath.
Is it breathing?
The space. No.
What a discovery. I am not breathing. Nonetheless, I contain a little I that breathes, whose heart beats, whose physical eyes see, whose physical ears listen. But I am that witness that is watching all of that passively. You're discovering the you that contains this beating heart.
It's a very different perspective.
Yes. It's the only perspective, and it's the one you've been craving for lifetimes. All that has happened is that a being becomes consumed with its person for a while, and it wasn't wrong. Every child is consumed with itself for a while. Every child has to leave home for a while and say no to the parent and actively dissociate itself from the great parent. We know that. Until eventually, over time, over many years of maturing, it matures into parent itself. And that's what's happening with the great mind of consciousness. It itself is evolving through its own creations. And your story is a part of that evolution. The mind can only see something that's wrong, something that needs to be remedied. It always feels that something is happening to it. Can you see that position? It's a position of isolation, a position of self-defense.
Yes. Because I think I am that mind.
And now?
I know I'm not that mind.
The reality is that you're both. Without wishing to confuse you, the reality is that the thinking mind is still mind, the great mind of consciousness being. It is simply the aspect that becomes temporarily consumed with itself, temporarily forgetful of its inherent reality. And it can last a while. But all of that journey is deepening you into yourself. And what's happening now is that you've just shone a light on yourself so brightly that you can never go back. Your own words, I fell in love. And from this position, you can now see this little child mind and all the ways it's limited its view. And those limited views have only come from need. Such a wall builds around this emotional heart. What we said earlier, that original sense of abandonment, of the great parent supposedly abandoning its child, the story that is yours, when you are then given the storyline of a heart that needs help, the mind reads that as, I've been given this set of cards, and it's not fair. Why would love do this to its child? It feels profoundly unloving to this thinking mind, because it feels under attack. The moment such a feeling arises, it's not to deny it. You must give it its voice, but without again being wrapped up in it. It's like if a child is having a tantrum. You have to, a wise mother allows that child its moment of expression whilst reining it in. It's a very subtle one, because you don't want that child to run completely amok. At the same time, it is trying to voice something, and it needs the space to do it. And your conscience is that great mother that will reel it in when that child reaches danger point and say, no, what is the reality here? Why are you so troubled? What is it in me that is in misunderstanding? And that is now your task, to bring yourself back to the deeper eyes, which is the deeper I.
Yes.
You cannot separate this thinking mind from mind consciousness. It's not enough to say, oh, it's just my thinking mind, it's not true, I won't pay it attention. This is profound confusion. All of those details of your psyche have been superbly written with much detail and precision to bring you here. But your task is consciously now to look.
Thank you.
Thank you, my love.
Thank you very much.
I really have come to the seat, to the cushion, mainly to thank you. This morning, on the train coming here, I realised that I didn't exist. It was weirdly simple, actually, that suddenly I just realised I didn't exist. And I'm consciousness. And although I have been, on a search for a long time, like it was just suddenly, it was like 1,000 pennies dropped, and I just didn't exist, and I don't exist. That I'm just consciousness. And I want to thank you for that. But I would like to ask a question. I won't bother with it. Consciousness does want to ask a question, because now I am, although I now sort of don't know anything, which is so strange. I feel a bit strange, to be honest, about I don't know anything now. yesterday, when the other gentleman was here on the cushion, you were talking about the cleaning out of the cave. And I have to say, I was sitting there thinking, oh, heck, I have a cavern, never mind a cave. And now I'm thinking, oh, do I still have to go to the cavern? Or what? Does this let me off the hook? I'm not sure anymore. I'm now in this complete state of not knowing anything at all. So I thought, I need to come and, just seek some advice, I think. I'm desperately hoping you say, no, you don't have to bother with the cave now.
I think you know what I'm going to say.
I do, that's what I had, this bad feeling. But you can hope.
It is from this position. It is like you'll reach the highest mountaintop of seeing, and then love says, right, I'm now going to throw you right back down the bottom, into that deepest cavern, and now the work begins.
Okay. I won't run for the exit, I promise. Okay.
You are existence. I know what you're saying. But language can very subtly be held on to. Let's just close your eyes for a moment and tune in to your sense of existence. Is your sense of existence a physical form?
No, it's not, no.
Okay.
No.
Can you see the sense of existence?
What I see is energy, really. That's what I'm,
Okay.
as my sense of existence.
Okay, so feel it. Just close your eyes and feel, be, know the energy of being. The vibration of being. The sound of being. The light that is being. Consciousness is what we can call electromagnetic energy in the form of sound, light, vibration. It is subtly something, very subtly phenomenal. A form is a light wave dancing within light. One of the chords within the great Om. A little vibration within the one vibration. From this perspective, it is now seen that everything is real. Everything is existence. Just like the wave-ocean analogy. all of the waves are still the ocean. What you're really saying is not that the wave doesn't exist, but you are discovering that which contains and gave birth to the wave. And from this position you can see the beauty of the wave. From this position you can open your eyes, existence, viewing existence. From here you can see that all the details in the cave are also you. This is an ever deepening in yourself. That deepening never stops. Consciousness is evolving. And you, by entering that cavern, are allowing a deepening and evolving to occur.
Can I ask you about, as you go into more detail about going into the cavern? Because we talk about in these terms, don't we, about, go and have a look at this, look at that. And I feel if you said to me, picture the cavern, it would really be, and it is, I kind of, have this feeling of it being, there's an awful lot of mess in there. There's a lot of mess and needs a lot of clearing out, but I'm not sure exactly where to begin. And people talk about doing inquiry, and I have historically meditated on who am I, but really, to be absolutely honest, I've never really got further than that. And I wondered if you could give some guidance about exactly where to begin.
Life will present it. In the subtlest and the most mundane circumstances, every aspect of your behavior. Let us say you're driving in the car and someone cuts up in front of you and an irritation arises. There you begin.
Okay.
Who is the one who is irritated? Who is the one who's had an expectation not met? Who is throwing a knife? The thinking mind is in permanent judgment. It's full of opinions. When you are at the supermarket and you're at the cash desk, who is speaking to the cashier? Is Ma speaking? Or is the one who is hurrying to get home speaking? It's in the detail. Who is moving you? There's no such thing as a spiritual setting. You paying the electricity bill as your spiritual setting. Am I having integrity? Am I integrity? What's in that cavern are all of your learned responses, your view on the world. And each being has their own unique filter, right? And you greet the world with your filter. And of course it's necessarily limited. You then greet another being's filter and you both come up against each other and slam into each other. Never understanding why you can't meet. Do you see? By facing the details of your behavior, you face what is in that cave. Your learned responses, your historical patterns of response. They are all born out of that little one who is in need. The little one who has forgotten the love that it is. It's very detailed work. It's putting yourself under the microscope, because this does not let you get away with anything. And you can feel it. If you say something harsh to somebody, it hurts you more than it could ever hurt anyone else. You feel it inside. Every thought, every word, every deed, every impulse that does not come from here is feeding that collective pot. All of the turbulence in the world is every identified thought. It is the need. To look from here is to see that it's one mind, one psyche.
Yes.
Your duty is to unravel all of the tight knots in the psyche. And actually it's a joy.
That's a relief.
Terrifying sometimes, sure. But what are you taking into that cave with you? Your light, your torchlight, your knowing.
Yeah.
Slowly, slowly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
I am confused always about love. Because I know that it's what we all crave for. And yet, although I have had love experiences in my life, as you said, before, they all turned out in some way not to be satisfying, and yet I still want that. And it's perhaps the human idea of love and the experiences that I've had. So although I do all sorts of practices to open my heart, I still feel that I can't really feel love. And sometimes I feel that I'm even unable to give love. And perhaps because I've been hurt so much, I create all sorts of barriers and self-defenses to avoid being hurt again. So this is my little problem.
Not such a little problem.
No.
The story of 7 billion human beings.
Yes.
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 And it's not wrong. It's not wrong that beings must misunderstand love for a while. And yet, they haven't misunderstood completely. A child is not totally ignorant of the truth. It doesn't quite have the whole picture yet. That's all. The craving of love is a complex one in the psyche, because the craving is matched in equal intensity with an absolute fear of love, understandably. The sense of I will be hurt, and the feeling that you've been hurt so many times that I don't want to risk myself again, creates many walls in the human psyche. But the one who is putting up walls against love and feels that they can't love, and the one who is craving and searching and reaching for love, is the same principle. Two sides of the same coin. It's the same need, just different expressions of it. And as you say, within your own lifetime, both aspects are playing out, sometimes simultaneously. But what wisdom that you're seeing, that all of your relationships are not quite hitting the mark. Something is still missing. For a long time, this can build much anger in the psyche. It's as if love were dangling a carrot saying, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here, and eternally out of your grasp. And it can feel cruel in the psyche. And many layers of anger against love build. However, the deeper you still knows the answer lies in love, else you wouldn't keep chasing. You wouldn't even put walls up against it if you didn't know there was truth in there. Those walls also express something, a knowing of the immensity of love. There is nothing more terrifying than love. When I say love, I mean pure, unconditional love. Because when a being tastes real love, let us say, pure, unconditional love, they know the game is up.
I don't know that I ever experienced pure, unconditional love.
Well,
and
let's
certainly
see.
I haven't been able to give it either.
Sure. So let's see together if it's possible. What brought you here?
I was here the other night turning, and because I turn here, I'm one of the turners, and somebody gave me a leaflet, and I wanted to come yesterday, and then I had a problem, but I thought I will definitely come today. I'm glad I did.
What was the feeling, though, to come?
To experience or to be in the presence of somebody who experiences higher consciousness than I do.
Okay.
And the hope to raise my consciousness a little bit, maybe.
Okay. Just put your left hand here. All right. Just close your eyes. And settle on that sensation of touch. Really give permission to yourself to feel the touch. Can you feel a heat or a warmth under your palm? Use the microphone, my love, sorry.
Just about.
Okay. See if you can really dive into that little bit of warmth. Can you feel a quality of space between the hand and chest?
I can feel a physical space, the space between the skin of the chest and the hand.
Okay.
And I can feel some energy there.
Okay, so just dive into that energy. Be it that subtle vibration. Is the energy limited to just between the hand and chest?
No, it's going.
Going or going beyond? Disappearing or going beyond?
Going beyond, it's like a sea with no boundary.
No boundary. So the energy of being has no boundary. The energy of you, the vibration of you has no boundary. How does it feel when your focus is on the vibration of you?
home, calm.
Okay. So when you're ready, can you open your physical eyes, but let that vibration, let that calm look at the form of Ma. How is your view?
I don't know.
What occurs?
I see you.
And what is felt?
I still feel my energy, the feeling.
You still feel the energy.
Yeah.
And the energy itself is what? Don't think about it. Close your eyes again.
It's warmth, there's a tingling, there's the subtle energy that I feel.
And that sense of no boundary.
Yes.
Be that one that has no boundary. And now open your eyes.
I felt my heart. I felt my heart.
What do you mean by you felt your heart?
I felt love.
Welcome home. For now, just bathe here. Nothing more to inquire into. Just feel. Let us talk more later, but this is enough. Thank you. Thank you.